Time with Billionaire Nee.
Previously on Time with Billionaire Nee.
Of what actually truly matters. Are you with me? Running through that. But you see, the problem is that if you do not have a vision, if you do not have a goal, if you do not have something that you're working towards, then it becomes a problem because focus becomes irrelevant to you because there's no single eye. There's nothing that you're focused on. So if this one comes, Time with Billionaire Nee. All right, beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me today in this episode. Now, today I want to talk to you about focus, continuing my teaching on focus. All right. Now, if you have not seen the previous videos on focus, please quickly refresh your memory so we can come back to it. Today, I want to start with the power of unwavering commitment. And my name is still Nee. I'm happy to be here to share these thoughts with you. So I'll read a statement from here, before I go into my next steps. So it says the power of unwavering commitment. This is a great statement I want to talk about. And it says the greatest achievers throughout history share one characteristic. They steadfastly set their face towards their goal. This is the posture of ultimate focus. They knew their mission and nothing could deter them. Not popularity, not opposition, not even the fear of failure. Now, this is a profound statement in the sense that if you have a focus and that focus is not scattered and it's just one goal, like we talked about in the beginning, this one thing, like Paul said, this one thing, have you decided that you want to do and you want to focus? When you make that type of decision, the forces of the universe come to back you up and support you in accomplishing that thing. If you ask me what is the science of that, I don't know. But I know it's worked for me and it's worked for millions of other people who are part of the few percentages that are actually focusing on stuff and not being scattered all around and accomplishing them. Some way by some miracle, as you want to call it. Now, if you look, there's a scripture in the Bible that talks about the Tower of Babel. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that several times, about when these guys made up their mind that they were going to build something all the way to the top. Now, God came down and said something profound. He said, this thing that these guys have decided, he said, because they are one, their focus is one. He says that nothing, not even me, can stop them. So nothing can stop them. The only thing that can stop them is confusion. The idea is that when you have a singular focus, that all your senses, that everything within you is focused on, that this is what I want to accomplish. He says when you make that type of commitment, that type of unwavering commitment, even the Bible says nothing can stop you. The key is being able to have that singular focus. In other words, when I say singular focus, doesn't mean that for the whole year you should just have one goal. No. But if you have specific goals and say, these are the three things, these are the areas that are burning in me, that are lacking in my life, that I want to focus on. So these three things have I decided, that's my goal. That's my singular focus for the year. What we're saying is that you need to develop some type of unwavering commitment. The commitment that says that this is the focus and nothing is stopping me from accomplishing it. If somebody brings something my way, I'm not going to get distracted. If the challenges come, I know that this is where I'm headed towards and I'm not getting moved. I'm not getting shaken. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's going to bring me fame, it's going to bring me, if it's a fear, whatever the case may be, I've made up my mind and this is what I'm aiming for and that's what I'm going to get. And I'm telling you, it's going to work wonders in your life. So you have to develop this unwavering commitment towards the thing that you want to accomplish. And one of the key ways of doing that is to make sure that the goals that you've written down, like we talked about in the previous teachings, what you want to do is that you want to write those goals down like a statement. And every morning when you get up, you want to read them. Now I have my statement on my wall. I have my statement in my wardrobe. So when I open my wardrobe, the back and the front, I look at it every morning and I see that, okay, these are the things that I said I want to do in the year. So when I'm getting swayed away, it is easy to come back to focus because I know that, hey, this is what I've said and that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to stay committed to doing. Because I'm telling you, if you can attest to it, the year hasn't gone anywhere, but so many things already are popping up that is already filling your days, filling your weeks up. And you want to make sure that you do not allow anything to deter your focus. Let me put this here. One goal. One goal. One goal. Always remember that. One goal. This is the goal, and that's what I'm going to do. Let me show you something that I've started doing lately that is helping me. Because you see, as you go, you have to constantly be dynamic, constantly be learning, constantly be finding how you can fine-tune what you're doing. You know, things that are distracting you, how can you fine-tune how you can go around them? Now, what I realized is that, yes, I had goals, and every day I write down the things that I want to accomplish for the day, okay? And I put them in times and all of that. But then I realized that stuff keeps eating over stuff and all of that. And I think I talked about that last time. It gets all jumbled up. So now what I decided to do is that when I have, although I have different things that I want to accomplish in the day, if I have one thing and said today I want to shoot one video, for instance, I pick that major goal. My mentor calls the majors versus the minors. Jim Ron. The majors versus the minors. So every day you want to play that game. That, hey, what are the majors? So that if all other things being equal, at least the majors gets done. And when I focus on a major, until the major is done, I'm not moving to the next thing. Unless it's a meeting or something that I have to move away. But the focus for the day is the major. So yes, I have things that I wish I want to accomplish for the day that is part of my plan, but then I have to group them into majors and minors. And if you keep doing that in the course of the days, in the course of the weeks, in the course of the months, you realize that you finish and you've accomplished a lot of majors, because the majors sometimes make up for the minors. And a lot of us, sometimes the minors are the little weeds. They're the little things that really eat up our time, that they are comfortable. Let me put this here, comfortable. Now, there's a lot of things that we do that are comfortable, but it's not necessarily productive. So what you want to focus is productivity. Productivity. Rather than something which is comfortable. The minors are usually comfortable. It's so easy to do. So a lot of us tend to focus on that, and it takes away a lot of your time. But when you have an unlimited, unwavering commitment towards that one goal should be the major for the day. It should be the major for the week. And that's what you want to focus on, that one goal. Now, let me teach you some practical steps for focused living. Okay, in the year 2026. Remember, we want to be able to make the best out of the year. We don't want the year to just go by like all the other years, where you just come, we just go about jack of all trades, keep doing a whole bunch of stuff and no real focus. We want to have some practical stuff. Now, one is clarify your core focus. So number one, clarify your core focus. Yes, you want to focus, but I want you to clarify what your core focus is. What is that thing that is important? Now, to be able to help you do that, you need to go back and revisit the goals that we talked, the last series that we talked about goal setting. You need to revisit that. So when you revisit that, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to tell what are your core goals that you have. To identify the primary goals. What are the primary goals? What are the things that you said these are the key things? So in my case, for instance, I said in the year I want to focus on my finance, on my career, and on my health. So these are my core primary focus. These are my core primary goals. So anything that I'm going to be doing is going to be based on these things. Okay, so the first step that I want to do in how to be able to stay focused throughout the year is to clarify what my core focus is. So as you're going and you're getting distracted, okay, you revisit what you already talked about and say, okay, I said my health, I said my career, I said so are these things that are coming my way, are they in line with these things? You have to identify that and then write them down and place it where you can see it, like I talked about. So when you identify your core focus, write it down. It's very important. That's how you can practice how to be focused. Write them down, put it somewhere in your room, put it somewhere in your office where you can see it all the time. That, hey, I said this. So once it crosses your mind that I said my health is important and I'm not doing anything regarding my health, it means I'm not following what I said I want to do. It means I'm losing focus. It means I'm not dealing with that one goal. It means I'm focused on other things that is not what I have set for myself. I'm not heading towards a destination that I want to head to. I'm just setting sail and just heading nowhere. So what you want to do is to write it down and make sure that when you write it down, there's practical steps that you're taking. So make sure when you write it down, you're going to actually be reading that all the time, as much as you can. As much as you can do it daily. Now, if you listen to one of the best audios that I've ever heard in my life. It's called The Strangest Secret or The Greatest Secret by Elle Nightingale. It's a very powerful thing. And one of the things that it teaches you is about when you have something that you want to accomplish, something that you want to do, you want to receive. Whether it's money, that's no matter what it is. So you can apply the same principle. Write it down. It says write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it. And every day when you wake up, read it. When you have the chance in the afternoon, read it. In the evening, read it. He says it's just a matter of time. There's a miracle in the atmosphere that causes things to shift, that begins to move you towards that goal. And that's what this does to you. When you clarify your core focus, and every time you write it down, so let me put write it down. When you identify the core focus, write it down. Okay? And then you read it daily. Now, these things, there's a miracle attached to it that you don't have to understand how it works. It just works because you're sending signals to your brain, and your brain controls everything. Remember, your brain is the key to life. Your brain. Don't underestimate the role your brain plays in your life, because everything that comes to you is somehow tied to your brain. And that's why it's important to stand guard, like Jim Rohn said, to the doors of your mind. Very critical, because anything that comes into your mind that you do not want, that is going to cause distraction, is going to affect everything that you've set that you want to accomplish. So you want to stay focused. So what you want to do is to write it down. When you clarify what a core focus is, and then you need to read it daily. When you read it daily, it tells your brain that this is very critical and important. So when something comes, it's easy when something comes your way, it's easy to be able to cross-check that right in your brain, even before you move to your paper. That, okay, this is not a lie, I just know it. Because every day I read my goal, I know my health goals. I know the things that I want to accomplish in my career. I know the things that I want to accomplish with my finances and the things that I've set for myself. So if it comes to my way and it doesn't align, I just move on. You know, those days, I love books. So when I see books somewhere, even if I don't read it, my mentor says, Jim Rohn, he says, I like to build my library. He says, even if I don't read all the books, just walking and seeing all the books refreshes my soul and refreshes my spirit. And I just fell in love with that. So when I go somewhere and I see a book, I just want to buy it. Yes, the idea of buying a book is to be able to read it, but at least to have it and to keep it. But one of the things that I started practicing was that once I had my core focus and said, these are the areas that I want to focus on, and these are the books that I want to be able to read, when I chance on a book that is a good book, but then it does not align with my focus for the year, I don't bother myself even touching it to think of reading it. No, I don't. Because if I have any time to read, I want to put that time into the things that I said I want to develop and put my focus in it. So that by the time the 12 months come around, I've actually been able to maximize the majors that I set for myself and not still being half there. When I'm half there, I'm about to begin a new year with being half there. No. So the stuff that I said, if I want to focus on my finance and I want to read 3 books, 4 books, 5 books for the year, I want to be able to read those books and understand them very well, rather than trying to read 50 books and really not getting much out of them, because it does not help build what I really want to build for the year. I don't know if it's making sense. Okay, I'm showing you something. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about practical steps. Stay with me. To focus living. 1, eliminate distractions. 2, eliminate distractions. Now, I want you to conduct an audit of your life all the time, as much as you can. Conduct an audit. Find yourself, to ask yourself, now, what are the things that are in my life right now that are actually not really, matching up towards my purpose for the year? Now, remember, it can align. Distractions are very trickish, okay? They're very trickish. Now, it can tie into your bigger goal, okay? Maybe you have a 5 years goal, you have a 10 years goal, you have a 20 years goal. Yes, it ties into your 20 years goal. But you see, that's not tied into your year's goal. And that's where the distractions come in. Because it feels like it ties into my year's goal, you just go for it. But it's only a distraction. Because you see, remember, if you set your goals properly, like I showed you, the things that you're doing this year is going to tie into your bigger goal. So tomorrow, whatever you're doing today is going to tie into tomorrow. If you set the goals properly, you have a good focus that is ties into your future. So when you have a distraction that ties into your 5 years goal, but then does not align with your year's goal, what you're doing is that you're getting distracted from the core focus that you set for the year. Okay, it's a singular focus, and that singular focus is what you must focus on. It's very critical, because you see, here's what one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, I love him so much. One of the stuff he says is that sometimes practicing some of these things is not the results necessarily. He says it's what it will make of you. So the idea of following this and being able to keep focus is not necessarily about maybe what the end result. It's about what it will make of you. So that even if you get to that end and you don't have all the results that you are looking for, it's made you a person that can actually follow something to get that result. And that is more powerful than anything. When you learn how to work to make $1 million, the key is not about $1 million because you can lose it all tomorrow. But the key is that you've learned a way to be able to do something. And that's what the focus is. And Inky Johnson calls it the process. He says focus on the process and not the end results. A lot of us focus on the end results and not the process. When you focus on the end results, sometimes you lose focus because you have these little distractions that looks like, okay, it ties into the final, but today it is not aligned with what I've set for myself. And that's what you want to avoid, to eliminate any distraction. Okay, so identify the top time wasters. So one of the things I learned is that it's not what you accumulate, it's what you let out. So sometimes we focus on getting the good stuff, but sometimes we need to be able to fish out the negative stuff that we need to get out. So there are things that are time wasters. Fish them out. Fish them out. That's how you can eliminate distractions. Fish out the time wasters. Things that really waste your time. You know that this is not really crucial. It wastes your time. So fish them out. When you're able to identify them, the key is to identify them. Remember, we are so distracted as a world with social media, with so many stuff, with the streets, and like everything, our family, so many things is taking our attention. So everything is so distracted that it is very easy to get carried away. So what you want to do is to have time to identify things that are actually wasting your time. And you see, one of the very important things that I've learned on this journey is that if you can sit down for 1 hour, as an example, and put a plan on paper or work out something on paper. Yesterday, I heard something that was very serious. I was driving. So much I want to say right now. Now, one of my mentors, Zig Ziglar, said something. He says, if you can use your car as a university, in 1 year, you could get what you cannot get in 4 years in a degree. And I'm like, wow, that's so powerful, because when I sit in the car and I'm driving, the amount of information that I allow to go into my brain is unbelievable. One thing after another. By the time I arrive at my destination, oh boy, I've soaked up so much. Yesterday, I heard somebody, talking about what was I going with that? Eliminating distractions. So I'll come back to that if I remember. So much information if I remember. But the key is that I want you to be able to identify the key time wasters. Are you with me? The key time wasters. What are the things that are actually taking your time? So what I was driving at is that when you take one day, or when you take one hour, if you take 30 minutes to sit down to plan or think about something that can help you for 1 week or for 1 year, it saves you so much more than taking 24 hours of just going up and down. Are you with me? Or of just doing the actual thing. So what I was going to tell you is, he said, I was hearing something the guy was talking about. He said the best solution to the best process to find solutions to any type of problem at all that works like magic. He said, whenever you have any problem, he says, sit in silence for 30 to 1 hour. Just don't do nothing. He says, from nowhere, the ideas after 25 to 30 minutes, you could try it. The ideas that will begin to drop in your mind will be unbelievable. Now, the times that I've gone alone, I've told my wife, I say, hey, I want to be alone. I just want to go sit. Let me think about this idea. Let me think about this thing, how I want to navigate this process. And when I go and I sit down alone somewhere, no distractions, nobody talking to me, nobody, and I just put all things away, and anything I've been listening to has to do something motivational. I come back to thinking. The ideas that I begin to come up with, things that begins to draw out of my spirit that I couldn't even have thought about just going through my normal day is unbelievable. So when I heard that yesterday, that all you have to do is to sit down quiet for 30 minutes or 1 hour and see how that solution will just open up to you from the inside. It will be unbelievable. So much, we're so distracted that we don't have the time to really think, to go inside and think. And that is so powerful. It gets so scary for some people if they have to just sit down and not do nothing and just think. Think. That 1 hour that you spend doing that is going to make up for a week's time that you'd have wasted. So it's very important when you want to eliminate distractions to sit down and fish out. If it takes you 30 minutes, sit down, fish out. This week, what were the things that took away a lot of my time that I didn't need to allow that? So next week, you know what you're supposed to do. So eliminate the time wasters. Very, very critical and important. Are you with me? And you have to practice saying no. Saying no is not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. You can testify to that. Saying no is not a joke. Your ability to say no, oh boy, man, and to some people, it's even extremely more difficult. Because the people that you have to say no to is supposedly special. But you always have to choose you first. Trust me, you have to choose you first. Because the key is, imagine, have you ever realized that some of the family people you have to say no to them to, eventually when you succeed, they're the same people who are going to benefit from it. But at the time, if you refuse to say no, and then you decided to just go, when you still fail, they're the same people that will blame you. So what you want to do is to choose you first by saying no. So if the thing does not align with you, you say no. I mean, yes, it's a great idea, but no, not today. I like you as a person, but no, not today. We cannot do that. This business cannot work. So you have to practice the ability to say no. It will go a long way to help you. That's how you can eliminate distractions. Saying no. The guy comes up with something that looks so fantastic that can make your life so worthwhile in the next 10 years. But in the next 1 year, based on the goals you've set for yourself, it does not tie in at all. It does not help you at all. Say no. It's not easy. Say no. You want to put your money in something that is not worth your while. It looks enticing, but you have to master the courage to say no. That's one of the ways you can eliminate distractions. Saying no with anything that is not aligned with your focus. Alignment. Alignment is the game. Alignment. Let me put alignment. Forgive me if I have a spelling wrong. Alignment. Okay? It has to align with your focus. It has to align with your focus. Okay? Alignment. It has to align with your focus. If it does not align with your focus, keep it pushing. Run as fast as you can. Run as fast as you can. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is building focus rituals. Building focus rituals. Hopefully you can see here. So build focus rituals. Now, rituals are things that you've done that has become part of you. It's a habit, it's second nature. You've done it so many times that it's become part of your second nature. What you want to do is to be able to build focus rituals. It means that things that allow you to focus, that becomes like a practice. Just like I showed you, writing your stuff down, putting it on a wall, that can become a ritual. Where every morning you know that I have to read this thing. That's the ritual that I practice because it helps me stay focused. So find things that helps you stay focused and make them like a ritual, make them like a habit. So if I know that I need a prayer in the morning to be able to keep my day organized, yes, every morning I have to make it a ritual to keep praying. When I do it as a habit, it becomes my second nature and it becomes a ritual. Just like Christians have practiced Christianity, it's become a ritual. Muslims have practiced Islam, it's become a ritual. So it's something that you don't even have to think about. It becomes tradition. You know that you need to go to church every Sunday, you need to go to the mosque 5 times. So those things have become rituals that you cannot do away with. You have to practice focused, aligned rituals as well. Very important. So establish morning focuses, things that can keep you in shape, things that can keep you being able to follow a routine or something of that sort. You have to be able to practice these things. Very critical and very crucial. Are you with me? Create evening reflection points. So when you sit down in the evening, if you don't journal, please begin to journal. Begin to journal. Jim Rohn says that he says one of the things that make up a lot of his library is his journal. That he wants his kids to be able to have them and read them as a resource. His grandkids can read them as resource, as memoirs. So I began to journal. I realized journaling is very important. It makes you really think and go inside. Sometimes you fall short, but if you practice it, it becomes a ritual. It becomes your habit. It becomes your second nature. You can do without it. When you take your journal in the evening, practice just journaling. Just write things that you're grateful for. And as you do it, it becomes part of you. It becomes some type of a ritual because it helps you stay focused. It helps you stay ingrained with what you want. It helps you assess your life and say, okay, I like where I'm going or I don't like where I'm going. Implement weekly reviews. Weekly reviews. When you set your goals, I showed you that you have to practice weekly reviews. Okay, this week, what did I do right? What didn't I do right? What didn't work? What worked? How can I get better? How can I reshape what I did last week, and how can I do better in accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish? You want to practice weekly reviews. But when you're doing that, the focus is that you do it so much that it becomes a ritual. Okay, it becomes a ritual. Very critical, because rituals, as much as, yes, when we hear rituals, it sounds some type of negative connotation, but rituals are good because when wealthy people, successful people practice things, that eventually becomes rituals because it becomes your second nature, muscle memory. You don't have to think too much to be able to do it. Find accountability partners and make that a ritual as well. Make it normal getting feedback from people. people that matter, people that have your best interests at heart is very important. Get them. It could be your partner. If your partner is not the best accountability partner, find somebody that you can have as an accountability partner, and then make it a practice. The more you do that, the more it goes deep into the realm of habit. Okay, the more you do it, it goes into the realm of habit where now you don't have to think. It's just part of you. You just wake up, you know I have to do this. The same way you wake up, you know you have to take a bath. That's like a ritual. You wake up, you know you have to brush your teeth. That's like a ritual. So you want to do things that are focus-based, things that help you to focus, that becomes your second nature. It's very important and very good. Okay, so one major goal accomplished because your focus is more important than 10 minors that you're dabbling into. The next thing I want to talk about, permit me to do some cleaning here. And clean these ones. The next practical step that you want to do is practice. That was 4, right? Deep work. Deep work. I put these deep work practice. And when I chanced on the idea of deep work, I was like, oh, that's very critical. That's very important actually. One of the things that can help you focus is to practice what I call deep work. Create periods. So when you look at my plan for the all right, so what I want you to practice is what I call deep work. When I chanced on this idea, I thought it was really great and it was really helpful. That there are times of your week, times of your day that what you want to do is you want to put what you call deep work. The portions that you don't allow anything to interrupt that work time. So if, for instance, you have 3 to 5 as your deep work time in the course of the day, now during that time, you turn off all your phones, you turn off anything that can serve as a distraction, and you focus on one goal and say, this is what I want to accomplish during my deep work session for today. And you focus on that time, and you're going to practice that. So that's one of the things that helps you stay focused, because you see that there are a lot of times that you allow so much things to distract you, but you say, hey, this is my time. This is my time. This is the time that I've set for myself to do what I call deep work, things that really matter. And when I'm focused on that, no distraction, nothing wavers. So if you begin to practice that, it will help you. If you say, and sometimes it's not about how much time you spend in doing all the stuff. If you look at the 4-hour work week, the 4-hour work week, I think is what it's called. And the idea is that you don't need so much time to be able to accomplish everything that you want in the course of the week. He says that the idea is that when you're able to identify the things that are so important, what I call the majors, if you're able to identify the things that are so important and find time that you're going to deal with those things, once you're able to accomplish those things, your week technically is done. Every other thing is a side thing you could deal with. So the deep work idea is about finding that time, scheduling that time to say 30 to 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes, however time, 3 hours, 2 hours in a day, and say that this is the time that I'm going to focus on this specific majors and I'm going to get them done, and I'm not going to allow anything to take my time when I'm in this period. Any other time, and I'm doing any other thing, yes, I can get a phone call, I can do some other stuff. But when it's my deep work time, nothing is interrupting me. I mean, again, remember, you can always fine-tune these things. I'm always fine-tuning my deep work times, because if I realize at the time that I put my deep work time, there's a possibility that something might distract me, then I'm going to move that and put it somewhere. So I'm constantly fine-tuning that. But the goal is to be able to have that and create that time, and it gradually becomes a practice. It becomes something that you become used to. That you're able to set those times and you become very single-minded and say, this is the goal I want to focus on during today's deep work session. And that's what I'm going to do. And nothing is going to stop me from doing that. So these are some practical steps that I want you to. So let me put schedule, schedule time for that. Schedule time and put on that. This is the time that I've set, and I want to be able to intentionally do work. Or I want to intentionally do that. I want to even rest. I want to do. So when you set those times, based on what it's going to give you, the results it's going to give you, you focus on that, and that time there's no distraction. Some of us don't even take time to rest. Maybe your deep work time is the time that you actually need to rest. So you said, this is my deep work time, 3 hours, no distraction, no phone, no nothing. I'm going to just take that time and I'm going to rest so I can recoup and be able to do the work that I've set for myself. So here's just some 4 practical steps that can help you to stay focused in the year and be able to stay in alignment in the things that you set for yourself. And I'm telling you, when you have that singular focus, nothing can stop you from accomplishing it. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. God bless you. Time with Billionaire Nee